Good morning, it's 10 o'clock. I'm Nancy Sun, and it's time for Easy News on ICRT. The TAIEX opened down 6 points this morning from yesterday's close at 8,355 on turnover of 1.2 billion NT. The Kaohsiung City Marine Bureau yesterday said samples of seawater collected near the estuary of Hojin Creek show that fish farms in the area have been polluted. Environmental Protection Minister Stephen Shen says advanced semiconductor engineering concealed wastewater disposal pipes that were not legally registered with authorities. ASE could now face criminal charges. However, company executives continue to deny dumping toxic wastewater into the creek, saying it was nothing but an accident. The Changhua County Prosecutor's Office yesterday questioned the founder of the Sun Moon Bright Light religious cult on suspicion of involvement in the death of a 17-year-old high school student in June. Police quizzed Chen Chao-ming as part of their investigation into the death of the teenage boy, who was allegedly physically abused and starved to death by his mother with help from members of the cult. The dead boy's mother was detained last week. 3 people, including the victim's mother, have so far been charged as defendants in the case. The Legislative Transport Committee yesterday questioned the Civil Aeronautics Administration's legal right to seize land for the Taoyuan Aerotropolis project. Committee members also slammed the central government's Showcase project, accusing it of benefiting land developers. The statement comes a day after residents of the area designated for seizure protested outside the offices of the Control Yuan in Taipei, requesting the government watchdog launch an investigation into the development project. And finally, the death of Army conscript Hong Chong-chiu has been selected by web portal Yahoo Kimo as Taiwan's top news event of 2013. The popular website released its list of this year's top 10 news stories yesterday. Second place went to persistent food safety problems involving toxic starch and soy sauce, as well as adulterated edible oils, bread containing flavoring essences, and locally grown rice being mixed with low-quality imported rice. In international news, pro-EU protesters in Ukraine have been reinforcing their position in the center of Kiev, rebuilding barricades torn down by police. Reports say the barriers, constructed with metal pipes and sandbags, are packed with snow to ward off any further attempt by authorities to empty the square. The government's decision not to sign a deal on closer ties with EU last month has sparked weeks of mass rallies. Now, Ukraine's first deputy prime minister says Ukraine would soon sign the pact in a meeting with Brussels. The deputy prime minister has been taking part in a day of talks with EU Commissioner Stefan Füle, who says the EU would provide more financial aid to Kiev if it were to sign the trade agreement. Earlier, EU Foreign Policy Chief Catherine Ashton says President Viktor Yanukovych had told her he intended to sign after all. UN investigators say in their report that chemical weapons were probably used at 5 out of 7 sites in Syria. In 2 cases, the weapons targeted soldiers, and in a third, soldiers and civilians. The report has not determined whether the government or rebels had used the weapons. The inspectors had already confirmed the deadly nerve sarin gas was used in an attack near Damascus on August 21st, which killed hundreds. Today, the UN Secretary-General Ban Ki-moon is due to brief the UN's General Assembly on the inspectors' findings in closed session. A police officer has been killed and at least 35 people injured by a car bomb outside a police base in an Egyptian city. Officials say intense gunfire was reported near the base after the car blew up. The Sinai has grown increasingly unstable in recent years, triggered by the fall of President Hosni Mubarak. His overthrow in February 2011 left the northern Sinai vulnerable to groups of jihadists, some with links to the Gaza Strip. And now looking at the weather across Taiwan, according to the Central Weather Bureau, we can expect mostly cloudy skies and occasional rain in the north with a high of 20 in Taipei, and partly cloudy skies in the center and south with a high of 22 in Taichung and a high of 26 in Kaohsiung. Current temperatures now, Taipei 19, Taichung 20, and Kaohsiung 23. That's it for Easy News today. Remember, you can download a slower version of the news as well as a transcript with Chinese explanations on our website, www.icrt.com.tw. Just look for Easy News.